right, third video here. It is so bright, but we're gonna do this angle and see if it works. Okay, so takeaway for today. I was listening to a podcast by Ed Mylett. I listen to podcasts a lot now. The one with Brian Dawkins, where he talks about the blueprint to a better you. And one of the things that was my biggest takeaway from like the first 10 minutes. It's like, dude, so Brian Dawkins says, if somebody told me that I couldn't do something, I couldn't achieve something, I couldn't win at something, I'd personally be disrespected. And he'd use that as a chip on his shoulder. Like he talked about Tom Brady, blah, blah, and like all of these different athletes. Like, I'm not in the athlete world, I'm not in the sports world, but I resonated with that so much. It's like, how many times have you been disrespected and you didn't take it as that, right? Like, that may not have been the intention, but the way that like people put limits on you, how are you not disrespected by that? And for me, in the past 24 hours, this literally just happened to me. Somebody pretty much made an offer to me, wanted to hire me for $45K. And I told my friend this, and he's like, bro, if somebody ever, like, okay, wait, how do you say this? Somebody had that offer, talked to one of my friends, and my friends didn't even tell me. He's like, he became that filter because he's with them. And he said, bro, fuck that. Like, you're not gonna get Abby for that. And then, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, like, you know my worth, blah, blah, blah. And I tell my friend this, I tell Eric this, and he's like, bro, I would be fucking disrespected if they ever told me that I could only make $45K. That even if they wanted to hire me, like even if they had the best intentions, I would be disrespected. And I would have done the same for you. If they ever told me that they wanted to hire you and asked me about it, and then they said $45K, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have said, fuck them. You're never gonna get Abby like that. Like, you're never gonna disrespect her with just that. And I'm like, I have two friends who literally felt disrespected when somebody put a number over me, and my reaction was like, oh, that's sweet. That's not what we're here for. So this morning, after listening to this podcast and having those two interactions yesterday, I am fired up. I'm like, I should be disrespected, and I will now feel disrespected. If somebody puts a number over me that I know I can, that I'm way past that number, and like whatever it is for you, whether it's like, oh, you're never going to be able to do this in basketball, you're never going to be able to like achieve the things that you want to, like mine is like, I will never go back to 45K. Well, I've never made 45K. I started a job with like 46K, but that's here in the US. I have a whole different life in the Philippines. But I don't know why, but now I know that one of the things that's keeping me back is like, I'm not taking it personally when people undermine my success. I'm not taking it personally when people don't recognize that there's a lot more to me than what you think or what the value you put on what I can do for you, right? And the fact that people have felt disrespected for me makes me fired up even more to feel disrespected for myself, right? So that is a takeaway for today. Keeping this really short and sweet, but I hope this serves you today. I hope you look at something in your life where people have just told you they're not, and then you're like, oh, you be complacent about it. And like, no, use it as a chip on your shoulder. Get mad about it. Like, how dare you tell me what I can or cannot do? Don't let anybody else reject you. Don't let anybody else put that over you, because you're going to start believing that, you're going to start putting that into your life, and you're going to put a limit on yourself when in reality it did not exist before they even told you about it. So I hope that serves you, and I will go back on my walk to the next one.